Have you ever wondered if one wrong turn could lead you to exactly where you belong? Olivia Hart's hands trembled as she stood outside Penthouse 88. The door hung slightly open. The lights were off. And she absolutely knew this was the wrong room. The Sterling Crown Hotel wasn't a place for people like this shy girl. It was a palace of marble and gold where guests paid more for one night than she earned in a month. She'd been cleaning its floors for 3 years, moving through hallways like a ghost head, down cartwheels, squeaking accidentally invisible to everyone who mattered. That's exactly how Tara Quinn, the hotel manager, wanted it. Earlier that morning, Tara had changed the schedule deliberately, pushing Olivia's name onto the penthouse floor, the CEO's floor, knowing it would trigger trouble. It was a trap disguised as a task, and Olivia had walked straight into it. Olivia thought about Maisie, her 7-year-old niece waiting at home, the little girl who called her Mama, even though Olivia was just 26, barely keeping them both afloat. Maisie's real mother, Olivia's sister, had left 2 years ago without explanation. Olivia understood abandonment. Her own mother had done the same when Olivia was 8. She'd learned early, don't take up space. Don't ask for more. This shy girl believed she wasn't worth staying for, so she cleaned. She remembered. She noticed everything: guest complaints, revenue patterns, the way people's faces changed when they thought no one was watching. But no one ever noticed her back. Inside Penthouse 88, something was desperately wrong. A glass lay shattered on the floor. Papers scattered everywhere. The room was unusually chaotic. Everyone knew the CEO kept everything pristine. Then she heard it: fast, uneven breathing. In the corner, barely visible in the darkness, a man sat hunched against the wall. His hands trembled. His breath came in sharp gasps. His eyes held pure panic. Evan Lancaster, the CEO, everyone whispered about the man who ran a billion-dollar empire, was breaking apart in the dark. And Olivia Hart, who'd accidentally opened the wrong door, was the only person who could save him. What happens when a wrong turn becomes the most inspirational moment of your life? Olivia froze in the doorway, her heart pounding. Every instinct screamed at her to back away. But Evan Lancaster's eyes found hers through the darkness, and something in his expression stopped her. He wasn't angry. He was drowning. "Mr. Lancaster!" Her voice barely rose above a whisper. "I thought the room was empty." "No." His voice came rough, strained. "You came at exactly the right time." Without thinking, Olivia reached for the light switch. The moment brightness flooded the room, Evan's breathing began to slow. His shoulders dropped. Color returned to his face. For just a heartbeat, she saw past the CEO. She saw someone who'd been drowning in darkness. "Thank you," he said quietly. "Wait." Evan stood straightening his jacket. "What's your name?" "Olivia Hart, sir. Housekeeping." "Thank you for coming when you did, Miss Hart." She fled before he could say more. 30 minutes later, Tara Quinn cornered her in the break room. "Who gave you permission to enter the penthouse?" Tara's voice dripped venom. "Did you accidentally wander in, or was this some pathetic attempt to get the CEO's attention?" "The schedule said." "I don't care what the schedule said." Tara stepped closer. "You're a cleaner. Know your place. One tiny mistake, Olivia, and you're finished here." Henry Brooks appeared in the doorway. "That penthouse has had a system glitch all week. The staff roster automatically assigned cleaners to empty rooms." Olivia was following protocol. "I wasn't talking to you," Tara snapped. After Tara left, Henry moved beside Olivia. "Sometimes God lets us open the wrong door to save the right person." 2 days passed. Then security called. Mr. Lancaster requested her presence in his office. Evan stood by the window. "Olivia, please sit." She perched on the chair's edge. If this is about the other day, you marked this section. He placed a folder on the desk, last month's occupancy report with her handwritten notes. I just noticed the numbers didn't match reality. Explain. The street view rooms on the 14th floor show 48% occupancy, but I clean that floor every weekend. Those rooms are always booked. The numbers felt wrong. Evan studied her intently. You're right. Someone was skimming reservations. Because of your observation, we caught it. He paused. You have a gift, Olivia. You see what others overlook. No one had ever called her gifted. I'd like you to work as my temporary assistant. 1 week. I need someone with your observational skills. Olivia thought about Maisie's school fees, the stack of bills at home. 3 years of cleaning floors, dreaming of something more, but never daring to reach. Yes, she whispered. She didn't see Tara watching from the hallway, fury twisting her features. Olivia's first day as assistant felt surreal. She sat in meetings, took notes, watched Evan command rooms with quiet authority. He was brilliant, but never cruel. When he explained concepts, he ensured she understood. When she offered observations, he listened, but Tara made every moment outside Evan's office hell. Shift changes forced Olivia to start at 5 a.m. and finish past midnight. Her breaks vanished. Tasks meant for 3 people landed on her shoulders. She's terrified of you, Henry told Olivia one afternoon. People like Tara can't stand watching someone shine. I'm not shining. I'm barely surviving. That's where you're wrong, child. You're doing more than surviving, and that terrifies her. A shadow fell across the doorway. Evan Lancaster stood there, completely out of place. Every staff member froze. Olivia, could I speak with you? I want you to continue as my assistant, Evan said directly. Permanently. I'll arrange for you to enter the management training program my company sponsors. Mr. Lancaster, I don't have a degree. You have something degrees can't teach. You understand people. You see patterns. You care about details others miss. Why me? Because when you walked through that wrong door, you didn't see the CEO. You saw someone who needed help, and you helped without hesitation. That's rare. Something warm and terrifying bloomed in Olivia's chest. Hope. I need time to think, she managed. Of course, take what you need. But as he walked away, Olivia saw Tara watching from down the corridor, her expression venomous. And the shy girl who'd accidentally opened the wrong door had no idea how deeply that one moment would change everything. The next day, everything shifted. During an important board meeting, Olivia's phone buzzed insistently. School nurse. Emergency contact. Her blood turned to ice. I'm sorry, she whispered to Evan. I have to go. It's my niece. Tara's voice cut across the room like a blade. Leaving mid-meeting is a disciplinary violation. This is how you repay this opportunity, with complete unprofessionalism. Evan's voice was steel wrapped in silk. She goes. I'll take full responsibility. Mr. Lancaster, the investors can wait. He looked at Olivia. Go. I'll drive you. 10 minutes later, Olivia sat in Evan's car, tears streaming down her cheeks. I'm going to lose everything, she whispered. I can't even handle 1 week without falling apart. You're not falling apart. You're being human. Your niece needs you. She's all I have. Her mother, my sister, walked away 2 years ago. Maisie was 5. I'm terrified social services will decide I'm not good enough. You're more than good enough, Evan said quietly. I know what it's like to be terrified of losing someone. My wife died 3 years ago. Car accident. I was driving. Couldn't do anything to prevent it. His hands tightened on the wheel. Ever since I can't be in darkness. That day you found me, I'd been trapped in that attack for 20 minutes. You saved me, Olivia. They pulled up to the school, sitting in silence, heavy with understanding. Inside, Maisie threw her arms around Olivia's neck. Mama, I thought you weren't coming. I'm always coming, Olivia whispered fiercely. Always. I promise. Evan watched from the doorway, something shifting in his expression, like maybe he was starting to remember what connection felt like. That evening, Evan helped carry the sleeping Maisie into Olivia's modest apartment. As they settled her on the couch, she stirred. Mr. Evan, I'm here, sweetheart. Are you Mama's friend? Evan glanced at Olivia. Yes, I hope so. Good. Mama needs friends. In the small kitchen, Olivia felt self-conscious about the cramped space the bills stacked on the counter. Thank you for today. You didn't have to. Olivia, what happened today wasn't weakness, it was strength. You prioritized what mattered most. Tara will use it against me. Let her try. You did nothing wrong. Why are you being so kind to me? I'm nobody. You're not nobody. You're someone who turns on lights when others are stuck in darkness. Someone who notices details that save lives. He paused. You're someone worth knowing, Olivia. Worth believing in. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I don't know how to accept that. Then let me show you how. One day at a time. The next morning, Henry found Olivia, his face grave. There's been an incident. Electrical problem in the West Wing. Could have caused a fire. He looked at her meaningfully. Remember when you mentioned the outlet sparking in room 1403? She nodded. I filed a safety report immediately. But someone buried it. Deleted it from the system. You saved lives, Olivia. And someone tried to hide that fact. Who would? But she already knew. Mr. Lancaster needs to know, Henry said firmly. Now. In Evan's office, the atmosphere was glacial. Tara stood beside the conference table. Evan held a folder, the recovered safety report. Why did you conceal a safety incident? Evan's voice was quiet, controlled, more terrifying than shouting. I wanted to verify the information before causing alarm, Tara said quickly. Minor. Evan set down the folder with precision. An electrical fault that could have killed guests and staff. I was protecting the hotel's reputation. You were protecting your quarterly bonus. So why delete it? Tara's mask slipped. Because she filed it. Some cleaner who thinks she knows better than management. I wasn't going to let her make me look incompetent. So you risked lives because your ego couldn't handle someone beneath your position being right. She's nobody, Tara's voice rose. She got lucky. She doesn't deserve to be in your office. I've worked here 8 years. Someone who has more integrity in her silence than you've shown in 8 years of management. Evan's words landed like stones. You're suspended effective immediately. The room went silent. You're firing me for her. I'm choosing someone who understands that hidden reports aren't just numbers, they're lives. He looked at Olivia. She has responsibility and heart. 2 things you can't train. Security arrived. Tara left in a storm of threats and tears. When the door closed, Olivia whispered, I didn't mean to cause this. You didn't cause it, Evan said. You prevented it. There's a difference. Henry squeezed her shoulder. Told you that wrong door led somewhere right. And in that moment, the shy girl who'd accidentally changed everything finally began to believe she deserved the light she'd brought into others' darkness. After Henry left, silence filled Evan's office. Olivia stood near the window watching the city below. I've spent my whole life trying not to cause trouble, and now Now you're standing up for what's right, Evan finished. That's different. Is it? She turned to face him. I'm terrified. Terrified of failing. Terrified of people thinking I slept my way into this opportunity. Terrified that reaching too high means Maisie suffers when I fall. Evan moved closer, his presence steady. Do you know why I keep building, expanding, pushing forward in business? She shook her head. Because the alternative is staying frozen in darkness. After my wife died, I could barely function. Every noise triggered panic. Every shadow looked like the moment of impact. His voice grew raw with honesty. But I learned something crucial. Healing isn't about forgetting what hurt you. It's about choosing to move forward anyway. Choosing to turn on the light even when darkness feels safer. Olivia thought about the penthouse, about how her simple action flipping a light switch had pulled him from a spiral. You did that for me, Evan continued. That day. You didn't know what was happening, but you helped anyway. You showed up. That's not nothing, Olivia. That's everything. I've spent my life being invisible, she admitted. Part of me wonders if I'm even meant to be seen. You're meant to be seen. His voice held absolute certainty. And I promise you the people who matter already see you. For a moment, they simply looked at each other across the office. Two people who'd both learned what it meant to be broken, who'd both forgotten what hope felt like. And something passed between them, not quite romance yet, but recognition. Understanding. The foundation of something that could become trust. Will you take the position? Evan asked softly. The management training program. Olivia thought about Maisie waiting at home, about the bills and the dreams she'd buried so deep she'd almost forgotten they existed. About Henry's words. Sometimes God lets us walk into the wrong door to find where we truly belong. Yes, she whispered. I'll take it. The next 3 months transformed Olivia's world completely. She entered the management training program, learning operations, guest relations, financial analysis. Terror gripped her, initially convinced everyone would see through her, would realize she didn't belong. But Evan had been right. She did have a gift. The patterns she'd been noticing for years as a cleaner, the observations she'd filed away thinking they didn't matter, they mattered enormously. She could predict guest satisfaction scores before surveys returned. She could identify staffing problems before they became crises. She understood the hotel's invisible architecture in ways people who'd only seen spreadsheets never would. Slowly, carefully, she started believing in herself. Maisie thrived, too. With Olivia's new position came better hours, better pay, and the security of knowing they wouldn't lose their apartment. The little girl who'd spent years fearing abandonment started to relax, to laugh more freely, to trust that Olivia wasn't disappearing. Mama, Maisie said one evening while they made dinner together. Are you happy now? Olivia stopped stirring the pasta, considering the question seriously. Was she happy for the first time since her mother left, since her sister walked away, since she'd learned to make herself small and forgettable? Yes. She was happy. Yeah, baby, she said softly. I think I really am. Her relationship with Evan had evolved into something neither quite knew how to name. They worked together frequently. He'd call her into strategy sessions to get her perspective, would discuss ideas during late-night meetings. She learned that beneath the composed exterior, he had a dry sense of humor and genuine curiosity about people. He learned that beneath her shyness, she had a spine of steel and a heart bigger than anyone he'd met. They talked about their losses, about his wife who'd been an artist and filled their home with color, about Olivia's mother who'd left a note saying she wasn't meant to be a parent, about how grief changed you into someone unrecognizable until one day you looked in the mirror and realized you'd become a new version of yourself, scarred, yes, but stronger. Do you still have the panic attacks? Olivia asked him one evening. They were reviewing reports in his office, the city sparkling below them. Sometimes, Evan admitted, but they're improving. I think, he paused, choosing words carefully. I think I was so focused on surviving that I forgot there's a difference between surviving and actually living. What changed? He looked at her, really looked at her, and something warm flickered in his eyes. Someone reminded me that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to move forward. That's not exactly what I said. It's what you showed me. The moment stretched between them, filled with unspoken things they weren't quite ready to voice. One afternoon, Henry found Olivia in the training room studying new scheduling software. You look different, he observed, settling into the chair beside her. Different how? Visible. He smiled gently. Like you're finally taking up the space you always deserved. Olivia thought about that. About how she'd spent years making herself smaller, quieter, less. About how she'd believed being seen meant being vulnerable, being hurt. I was so scared, she confessed. When Evan offered me this position, part of me wanted to run, to go back to being invisible. At least when you're invisible, you can't disappoint anyone. Can't inspire anyone either, Henry said gently. Can't love anyone, can't be loved. That's not protection, child. That's just another kind of prison. Tears stung her eyes. How do you always know exactly what to say? I've been watching people for 62 years. You learn a few things. He patted her hand warmly. And I've been watching you since you started here. You were always meant for more than cleaning floors. You just needed someone to help you see it. Evan sees it, Olivia said softly. Evan sees you, Henry corrected. There's a difference, and that, my dear, is something truly special. Later that evening, as Olivia packed up to leave, she discovered an envelope on her desk. Inside was a handwritten note from Evan. Thank you for walking through that wrong door. It led us both to exactly where we needed to be. Beneath it was a formal letter offering her a permanent position as Assistant Operations Manager. Olivia sat down hard, the letter trembling in her hands. She thought about the girl who'd been abandoned at 8. The young woman who'd taken in her sister's child without hesitation. The shy cleaner who'd spent 3 years invisible, believing she wasn't worth seeing. That shy girl had accidentally walked through the wrong door and found something she'd never dared to dream of, a place where she belonged. A chance to prove her worth. And maybe the beginning of something that felt like love. This wasn't just inspirational. It was transformational. And for the first time in her life, Olivia Hart allowed herself to believe she deserved every bit of it. But the most important conversation, the one that would define everything, was still waiting just around the corner. 6 months after accidentally opening the wrong door, Olivia stood in her small apartment getting ready for the hotel's annual gala. It felt surreal. She'd been invited not as staff, but as management. She'd actually debated not attending. Old habits of invisibility died hard. But Maisie had insisted, helping pick out a simple navy dress from the thrift store and declaring Olivia looked like a princess. You have to go, Mama, the 7-year-old had said seriously. Mr. Evan will be sad if you're not there. Olivia's heart had done something complicated at those words. Because Maisie was right. Over the past months, Evan had become part of their small family in ways that felt both natural and terrifying. He'd shown up with soup when Maisie had the flu. He'd helped with math homework, his billion-dollar brain explaining fractions with remarkable patience. He'd sat in the emergency room with them when Maisie broke her arm on the playground. And somewhere between those quiet moments, and the late-night strategy sessions, Olivia had fallen in love with him. She hadn't said it out loud, hadn't even let herself fully acknowledge it. Because people like Evan Lancaster didn't fall for former cleaners who'd accidentally stumbled into their lives. That's not how the world worked. Except the doorbell rang. When she opened it, Evan stood there holding wildflowers, daisies, and baby's breath, and lavender, the kind that grew wild rather than in expensive arrangements. I thought... He stopped, seeing her expression. Is this okay? I should have asked first. I just wanted to... It's perfect, Olivia whispered. He smiled, and it transformed his entire face. The serious, controlled CEO disappeared, replaced by someone softer, someone who'd learned to step into the light again. I have something to tell you, Evan said. Before we go to the gala, can I come in? Maisie was at a sleepover, so the apartment was quiet. Olivia led him to the small living room, her heart thundering. I need you to know something. Evan began setting the flowers down carefully. These past 6 months working with you, getting to know you and Maisie, it's been the best part of my life since Claire died. You've helped me remember what it feels like to be fully present, not just surviving, but actually living. Olivia's breath caught. I know there's a power dynamic, he continued quickly. I know people will talk. I know this is complicated in every possible way. But I also know that I can't keep pretending I don't feel this. That every time you walk into a room, something in me lights up. That you've become the person I want to tell everything, to the good, the bad, all of it. Evan, I'm not asking for anything, he said softly. I just needed you to know. You deserve to be seen, Olivia. All of you. Not just the employee, but the woman, the mother, the person who's so much braver than she believes. Tears slipped down Olivia's cheeks. I've been invisible for so long I forgot what it felt like to be looked at. Really looked at. It terrifies me. I know. He reached out gently, wiping away her tears with his thumb. But you're not invisible to me. You never were. From the moment you walked through that door, the wrong door that turned out to be so perfectly right, I saw you. I see you too, Olivia whispered. The real you. Not the CEO, not the empire. Just Evan. The man who's learning to heal. Who shows up. Who cares so deeply it hurts him sometimes. Is there room in your life? Evan asked quietly, his voice vulnerable in a way she'd never heard before. For someone like me. Someone still figuring out how to move forward. Someone who might wake up in the middle of the night needing the lights on. Olivia thought about all the doors in her life. The ones that had closed her mother, leaving her sister, abandoning Maisie, years of believing she wasn't enough. And the one door that had opened by accident, wrong in every technical way, but so perfectly, impossibly right. She thought about how this shy girl had accidentally found not just a job, but a purpose. Not just an opportunity, but a family. Yes, she said. There's room. There's always been room for you. Evan's expression shifted into something beautiful, relief and joy and hope all mixed together. I've been wanting to do this for months, he admitted. But I didn't know if you felt... I do, Olivia interrupted softly. I feel it too. I think I have since that first day when you thanked me for turning on the light. I just didn't believe someone like you could want someone like me. Someone like you, Evan said, stepping closer, is exactly who I want. Someone kind, someone brave, someone who sees people, really sees them when they're at their most vulnerable. That's you, Olivia. This feels like a dream, she whispered. The kind I'll wake up from. Then let's make sure we both stay awake. His voice was warm, certain. Together. When he kissed her gentle and certain, it felt like coming home to a place she'd never been, but had always been searching for. It felt like healing, like hope, like the most heartwarming promise she'd ever been given. It felt like the wrong door had led her to exactly the right place. And the most inspirational part. This was only the beginning. The gala was everything Olivia had imagined, and nothing she'd expected. She walked in on Evan's arm, no longer the invisible cleaner, but someone who belonged. Staff members who'd once looked through her now greeted her warmly. Managers who'd dismissed her now asked for her insights. Even the guests seemed different, or maybe she was the one who'd changed. "You're staring," Evan murmured amusement in his voice. "I'm remembering," Olivia said softly. 6 months ago, I would have been serving drinks at this event. Now I'm attending it. It feels unreal." "It's real." He squeezed her hand gently. "You earned this. Every bit of it." Across the room, Henry caught her eye and raised his glass in a quiet toast. The old maintenance man's smile said, "Everything I told you, that wrong door would lead somewhere right." Later, as the evening wound down, Maisie video-called from her sleepover. "Mama did, Mr. Evan give you flowers." Olivia laughed, showing her the wildflowers now sitting in a vase at home. "He did." "How did you know?" "Because he asked me what kind you like," Maisie said matter-of-factly. "I told him you like the ones that grow by themselves, not the fancy ones." Evan appeared beside Olivia, leaning into the phone's view. "Your mama has good taste." "Are you guys boyfriend and girlfriend now?" Maisie asked with 7-year-old directness. Olivia's cheeks flushed, but Evan answered without hesitation. "I hope so. If your mama will have me." Maisie clapped her hands. "Yes, that means you can come to my school play next week." "I wouldn't miss it," Evan promised. After the call ended, Olivia looked at him with wonder. "You're really okay with this? With all of it, with me and Maisie and our complicated, messy life?" "Olivia." Evan turned to face her fully, his hands gentle on her shoulders. "My life ended 3 years ago in a car accident. I thought I'd never feel whole again. I thought the best I could do was survive, manage the panic, keep moving forward mechanically." His voice grew thick with emotion. Then a shy girl accidentally opened the wrong door and turned on a light. And suddenly I remembered what it felt like to want to live again, not just survive. "I was so scared," Olivia admitted. "Scared you'd realize I'm not special, that I'm just someone who got lucky." "You're not lucky. You're extraordinary." He said it with such conviction that she almost believed it. "You see people. You care about them. You make the world better just by being in it. That's not luck, Olivia. That's who you are." She thought about the journey that had brought them here. A wrong door, a panicked CEO in darkness, a simple act of turning on a light. It had seemed so small at the time, so accidental, but maybe the most heartwarming moments in life were the ones that felt accidental, the wrong turns that led to exactly the right places. "I love you," Olivia whispered. "I probably have for months, but I was too afraid to say it." Evan's smile was brilliant, transformative. "I love you too. You and Maisie both. You've become my family, Olivia. The family I thought I'd lost forever." "We're not perfect," she warned. "We're messy and complicated and exactly what I need." He pulled her close. "Exactly what I've been searching for without even knowing it." Around them, the gala continued, music playing, people dancing, the celebration of another successful year. But in their corner, two people who'd found each other in the most unexpected way held on to something more valuable than any business success. They held on to hope, healing, love that had grown from darkness into light. And it all started because a shy girl accidentally opened the wrong door. Sometimes the wrong door is exactly the one we're meant to walk through.